The United Kingdom officially entered the mode of war. It is not force of expression, not exaggerated alarm. It is a direct definition of the words of the new Prime Minister Keir Starmer, which has just announced a series of radical military reforms, alerting the country in the face of technological advancement and concrete threats from Russia. The announcement, of course, the time has come to prepare the nation for a new era of conflict, where war will not only physical, but digital, strategic, silent, and deadly. Starmer doesn't just want to maintain the current structure. He wants to completely reshape the shape of the British Armed Forces, from the recruitment process to the technological composition of his equipment and operations. And it all starts with a bold proposal, the creation of the so-called Gap Year Army. Inspired by the Australian model, the project invites young people who are new to school to spend a year immersed in military life. It is not mandatory, but it is strategic. The goal is to form a new generation more prepared, familiar with the national defense logic and connected with the technologies that will master battlefields. In a world where youth is already born handling cell phones, playing simulators, dealing with drones and digital interfaces, why not channel it for national security? This is exactly what Starmer is betting. He knows that to form a modern force, he needs a soldier's base that understands software as much as tactics. And that's where the second pillar of this transformation comes in, the focus on state-of-the-art military technology. The United Kingdom is moving to make drones, artificial intelligence, and autonomous systems not just a part of the army, but his backbone. The war in Ukraine left this wide open to the world. Drones are no longer accessories. They are primary weapons. Weapons that cost little, fly away, attack accurately, and when they fall, they do not lead a human life together. Given this, the United Kingdom has decided to invest heavily in its development, from recognition drones to true attack machines, with autonomous capacity and total integration with air, naval, and terrestrial forces. But the plan doesn't stop there. Royal Navy will also undergo an unprecedented modernization process. The goal is to create hybrid aircraft carrier capable of launching both fighters and modern F-35 and air and subaqueous drone swarms. This will give the UK a flexible, multifunctional naval force that can quickly respond to threats anywhere in the globe. Imagine a ship operating on the high seas, releasing dozens of drones for recognition, surveillance, sabotage, or direct attack, while coordinating submarines and monitors cyber threats. This is the type of integrated force that Starmer wants to see fully operational by 2035. This future, however, also depends on invisible but fundamental security: cyber defense. And it will be treated as a top priority. With the growth of digital offensives from Russia and China, the United Kingdom will reinforce its cyber sector with military experts in digital security. These professionals will operate as a new front line, defending energy structures, communication systems, sensitive databases, and critical information from the country. An attack today does not need bombs. Just a well-executed click to lock airports, paralyze electric networks, or sabotage military systems. We are witnessing the transformation of a sleeping military power into a new generation combat force. Keir Starmer took the first step, but there is still a lot to come. In the next part, we will talk about the new nuclear submarines developed in partnership with Australia, the directed energy weapons that promise to eliminate missiles with laser beams, and the billionaire plan for nuclear reinforcement that promises to change the balance of power in Europe. The second step of this restructuring places the UK underwater, literally. The strategic partnership with Australia is not just diplomatic but technological and arms. Together, the two countries will develop a new fleet of nuclear attack, silent, invisible to radars, and equipped with hypersonic missiles. The goal? 12 elite units capable of crossing whole oceans without being detected, monitoring hostile activities, and launching devastating attacks from the depths. This is not just a dissuasive. It is absolute superiority in a scenario where Russia also invests in state-of-the-art stealthy submarines and ballistic systems. The world is in an invisible technology race, where it wins who listens before, sees before, and fires first. And that is why British submarines will not be simple warships, but true mobile centers of intelligence, vigilance, and brute strength. Equipped with advanced sensors, counter-thinning, and connectivity systems with military satellites, These submarines will play a vital role in defending the territory, protecting maritime routes, and supporting NATO operations in conflict zones. Unlike the 20th century war, the 20th century war will not have trenches. It will be locked under the sea in heavens and digital networks. And when the attack comes from heaven, the United Kingdom wants to have something new available: directed energy weapons. The jewel of this new age is the Dragonfire project, a laser-based system capable of destroying missiles, drones, and even planes without needing physical ammunition. A beam of concentrated, silent light that travels to the speed of light and neutralizes threats with surgical accuracy. This means real-time savings, more agility in answers, and the main firepower that is not exhausted. It is the type of technology that looked like science fiction years ago, but it is now being integrated into British defense systems, placing the country on top of global arms development. Behind all this is a question that many avoid mentioning, but that Starmer has lasted without fear: the return of nuclear deterrent as a central pillar of European defense. A new package of £15 billion will be invested in developing modern, more compact, more accurate and adaptable nuclear warheads to different combat scenarios. This does not mean a desire to start conflict, quite the contrary. It is a direct response to the intensification of the threats from Russia, which in recent years has not only modernized its arsenal, but has shown increasing interest in projecting power over the European continent. Stmer believes that a UK with robust nuclear capacity is a respected UK, and, above all, safe. This war climbing is seen by many as inevitable. After all, when surrounded by hybrid threats, digital attacks, spy drones, and autocratic leaders testing the limits of diplomacy, standing still is the shortest way to vulnerability. The Prime Minister doesn't want that. He wants a country on ready, with young and well-trained soldiers, cutting-edge technologies, solid alliances, and enough power to protect his population without hesitation. This is why all investments have a scheduled date: 2035. This is the year when Keir Starmer wants to see the British armed force reaching the peak. And it's not just about having more weapons. It is about having an integrated, lethal force and adapted to the reality of a world in constant mutation. The transformation will not only be military, but strategic. The United Kingdom plans to operate jointly with its NATO allies, integrating systems, sharing intelligence, and acting in real-time synchrony. For this, each new drone, each AI software, each ship thrown into the sea, and each nuclear submarine under construction is part of a much larger board, where survival will not be brute, but by the intelligence of those who anticipate the future. The United Kingdom doesn't want to be just a global actor. It wants to be the axis of European security in times of chaos. But will this arms race end there? In the final part, let's understand how the Starmer plan will unify these pieces in a modern and 10 times more lethal force, and why the world needs to pay attention to what is happening in the British military bases. All this points to a clear destination. Until 2035, the United Kingdom wants to have an armed force that not only follows the evolution of modern conflict, but leads this new paradigm. The goal is bold: to build an integrated and 10 times more lethal force than the present, combining soldiers, cutting-edge technology, artificial intelligence, drones, submarines, nuclear weapons, and cyber defense on a completely synchronized military machine. Keir Starmer does not see this as a choice, but as an obligation to an increasingly unpredictable world, where powers like Russia, China, and Iran expand their influence through unconventional, fast, and often silent methods. To achieve this degree of integration, it will be essential that the three forces, Army, Navy, and Air Force, operate as a single organism. This means that a surveillance drone launched by a hybrid aircraft carrier needs to communicate in real time with F-35 fighters in the air, which in turn passes data to a land base, which then orders an attack by a submarine hidden in the Atlantic. All this in seconds. It is this kind of answer that modern war demands, and that's what the United Kingdom is preparing. This new combat model also depends on the union between human and digital. Soldiers of the future will not only be warriors, they will be autonomous systems, real-time data analysts, and decision-makers in high-pressure situations. The gap-year army, with young people newly in school being inserted in this environment, is the first step in shaping a generation that understands that modern war is not only made of physical strength, but of speed, adaptation, and technological domain. A British teenager who now enlightens as part of a one-year program can become, tomorrow, responsible for running a drone squad in a Baltic operation. At the same time, the formation of cyber defense teams becomes a key piece. Digital attacks have already stopped hospitals, power systems, and even whole military networks. Now the UK wants to be in the forefront of the invisible war, investing heavily in digital security, offensive artificial intelligence, and software that can neutralize threats in seconds. The goal is, of course, if someone tries to attack, digital or physically, it will be detected, traced, and eliminated all even before the first shot is fired. The future of the United Kingdom is militarily ambitious but not fanciful. It is based on data, real threats, and cold analysis of recent conflicts, especially Ukraine, which showed the world as drones, misinformation, and hybrid attacks can collapse nations. And the lesson has been learned. Either you prepare or you are swallowed. Keir Starmer put the country in a state of readiness. In war mode, not because you want a conflict, but because you understand that only those who are ready can guarantee peace. And this new British, highly technological, young, connected, and lethal army is not an emotional but strategic response. It is the attempt to transform the United Kingdom not only into a bastion of European democracy, but in a global fortress capable of facing the threats of an increasingly unstable, faster, and brutal century. And while many leaders in the world still discuss the direction of their defense policies, the United Kingdom is building, piece by piece, the gear of a new type of armed force. One that does not expect the war to reach your door but anticipates it, study it, and prepare to overcome it, be it physical, digital, submarine, air, or invisible. Because in today's world, being ready is not an option. It is a necessity.